What's going on, guys? It's NYPrepper here. I wanted to talk to you guys about the coming economic crisis in 2021 that I don't think a lot of people are prepared for. And I'm actually in South Dakota right now, and we're about to go and see the Spearfish Canyon, which is one of the most scenic drives in the entire United States. So we're about to head out and go see that and maybe do some hiking in the Black Hills. And it's a beautiful area here. If you guys have never been to the Black Hills, I highly recommend it. We're about 30 minutes away from Sturgis, the famous bike rally area, and the scenery here is gorgeous, as you guys can see in the back. We're just at the hotel over here now, but we're right at the doorstep of the Black Hills. And you know, South Dakota is a lot different from New York, where I'm from. Nobody wears masks here. I would say about 25% of people wear masks. And you know, what's nice about South Dakota is that they don't mandate you to wear a mask. It's up to the individual businesses to mandate it. And I think that's the way it should be done. I think that people should have the freedom to choose if they want to wear a mask or not. And you know, here in South Dakota, businesses are open, everything is open. Life is pretty much normal here. But you know, I think a lot of the coastal states, East Coast and West Coast, that have really enacted extreme lockdown measures and, you know, very anti-business measures to control the virus are going to really suffer in the next couple of months. And I think that this coronavirus is really like a silent killer economically. You know, I think that a lot of these arrogant governors, like Governor Cuomo and some of these other governors of liberal states, you know, they're so arrogant, they think that they're going to be able to lock everything down and everything's going to be fine. But there's always a reaction to everything you do. You know, it's like what is that, Newton's law? For every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. So everything you do there's always some kind of reaction to it. You know, nothing is free, everything has a price. And locking things down and shutting everything down, shutting down bars and restaurants, shutting down businesses, mandatory masks, all those things are going to have a price at some point. And a lot of these governors haven't felt the pain yet of all these tyrannical orders that they've given, you know, but the chickens are going to come home to roost soon. And when they do, I think that a lot of these governors are going to face severe backlash from their citizens, even in New York. You know, I think that people are fed up with being locked in their homes. They're fed up with, you know, not being allowed to run their business and feed their family and make a living. I think people are pissed off, and I think the chickens are going to come home to roost in 2021 when the economy is going to tank. And the reason I'm talking about this today is because, number one, we're on the end of 2020, but also, you know, I just got some word today that one of the local malls in my part of New York is potentially going to be closing down, and they just shortened their hours to 7 p.m. It's the nearest mall to where I live, or the nearest big mall, and they're shortening their hours to 7 p.m. And you know, when a mall has to shorten their hours to 7 p.m., that's a bad sign. You know, that means that they can't afford to make money and pay their bills. So if that mall closes, which is what the word is on the street, it's one of the bigger cities in upstate where I live. If that mall closes, there's not going to be any malls for like 50 miles or 70 miles. I'm going to have to drive like 50 miles just to go to a Macy's or, you know, a Best Buy, or, you know, one of those big box stores. And I mean, it's not the end of the world. I mean, I don't really shop at those stores anyway, and everything's online. But I mean, to have a huge mall like that shut down is just absolutely crazy. And I think there's going to be a crisis in 2021. It's a silent killer. So the damage is being done right now, and we just haven't seen the damage yet. You know, it's like when you eat a high cholesterol diet and a lot of saturated fat. It's a silent killer. You know, you don't see the cholesterol building up in your arteries. You know, you just continue to eat your burgers every day and, you know, whatever, you know, saturated fats every single day. And it slowly but surely builds up in those arteries. And then before you know it, you have a heart attack in the middle of nowhere, you know, and I think that's what's happening right now. I think that, you know, these lockdown measures are like a silent killer to our economy, and we just haven't seen the effects yet because these companies are trying to stay open. They're doing the best they can to keep their doors open, but they're losing money. You know, they're not making money. They can't afford to pay their workers. They're slowly and quietly laying people off, and it's going to be like a heart attack, like when you have cholesterol and fat buildup in your arteries. There's no warning. It just happens suddenly. You know, you could be driving down the road, you could be sleeping at night, and all of a sudden you have a heart attack. And I think that's what's going to happen in 2021. I think in the next 6 months, by summer 2021, I think we're going to have a massive economic crisis that's going to take people by surprise. I think a lot of people are going to be totally caught off guard by it, and I think that now's the time to prepare for that. Okay, get whatever you need to get. You know, stock up on everything you can think of. Ammo, clothing. You know, clothing is a big one that a lot of guys overlook. If a lot of these stores shut down and go out of business, it's going to be hard to get clothing. So stock up on clothing, especially tactical clothing and outdoor gear. Get as much as you can. All right, socks, boots, pants, jackets. Okay. But I think it's going to be like a heart attack. You know, I think that these lockdowns, these tyrannical measures that all these governors have enforced, the chickens are going to come home to roost, and that heart attack is coming. You know, and when that heart attack comes, it's going to be unexpected, and it's going to be sudden and painful. You know, so be ready, guys. I'm telling you, it's a silent killer. All right, and in addition to that mall that I was telling you about, there's other things too that I've noticed. You know, there was actually a Best Buy store in my part of upstate New York, and it's the only Best Buy for like 30 miles, and it shut down a few weeks ago, right before the holiday season. All right, so the fact that they have to close a Best Buy, and it's the only Best Buy for 30 or 40 miles, and they have to shut it down right before the holidays, that's a bad sign. Okay. And just talking to a lot of people and just hearing the stories of businesses closing, bars, restaurants especially, you know, it's a silent killer, guys, and we don't see the symptoms yet. You know, we're not seeing that. We're seeing some small minor symptoms here and there. Some businesses are closing down, but I think the massive economic crisis is coming. Okay, we also have New York City is under terrible economic crisis right now. The train system in New York City is basically bankrupt. I have a friend of mine whose brother works on the train. He punches tickets on the Metro North train system, which goes to upstate New York from New York City. And he's saying that they're laying people off already, and they're on the verge of shutting down completely and sending everybody home. All the people that work for the Metro North, they're telling people that they could lay everyone off soon. Okay, so the New York City train system is on the verge of bankruptcy, and also, excuse me, also a lot of the big companies are moving their offices out of New York City. Okay, they're moving their, you know, their corporate offices, their headquarters, their you know, offices where people work. You know, they're moving them from Manhattan, and they're moving them to places like Florida, Texas, Arizona, even here in South Dakota. They're leaving New York City because New York City is locked down. It's expensive, and they don't want to pay the money anymore to have their offices anymore there. And you know, dealing with the tyrannical lockdown measures, they're packing up, they're closing up their doors, and they're saying, let's get out of here. you know. And so that's what's happening in New York City. And you know, a lot of big companies, big corporations, big banks are packing up, closing up shop, and they're moving their corporate headquarters to places like Austin, Texas, or Florida, places where there's no tyrannical lockdown measures and people can actually come into the offices and work. And you know, the problem with New York City is that nobody's going into those office buildings anymore because everyone's working remotely. So all those real estate companies that own those buildings are also going to go bankrupt because they don't have tenants to make money from that they can use to pay the ridiculous New York State taxes that they probably have to pay, property taxes. So, you know, guys, we're on the verge of an economic crisis. It's a silent killer, all right, just like cholesterol in your arteries. And, you know, that heart attack is coming. And when it does, it's going to be sudden, and it's going to be violent and painful, and it's going to catch people off guard. So, you know, please do yourself a favor and prepare, okay? Now is the time to get whatever you need to get, you know, hone your skills. Just like I say, the 3 Ps: prepare, practice, and persevere, okay? Prepare yourselves, stock up on food, water, gear, firearms, ammo, okay? Practice, go to the range, go to the gym, stay in shape, keep your skills up, okay? Survival skills, shooting skills, land navigation, hunting, everything, okay? And then persevere, you know, have the mental fortitude to survive difficult situations and the hard times that I believe are coming. So do yourself a favor and really start to prepare for an economic crisis like we haven't seen in a very long time, guys, okay? This economic crisis, I believe, is going to blow away 2008, and it's going to be really bad, okay? Right now, everybody is not even thinking about it because it's the holidays, and you know, the stock market is going up, and we had an election, so people's minds are not really on the economy, and people just want to have a good holiday. They don't want to think about it, but that's the reality, guys, okay? The reality is that the plaque in the arteries is building up as we speak, silently, and before you know it, the heart attack is going to come. So I'm not trying to fearmonger you guys. I'm just sharing my opinions and my thoughts. And, you know, maybe the crisis won't happen. You know, I'm not trying to scare you guys and get you to panic and, you know, run up your credit cards or anything like that. I have no reason to do that. I'm just getting you guys to think a little bit and prepare, so this way you're not caught off guard like everybody else, okay? You don't want to be like the common citizen who's going to be freaking out and running around and grabbing toilet paper and water bottles, you know? So that's pretty much it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'm going to probably stream tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern. So that's pretty much it for this video. Take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 Ps: prepare, practice, and persevere.